Good morning. We don't really have a lot of time to talk. It's super early. I gotta get my son to school. So, I gotta do that. Bye, puppies.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Okay, we're back. Bro, Fridays are brutal because I have to wake up super early, and I was even in bed last night getting the edit done, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm gonna sleep in till like 10. And then Kristen, my wife, is like, hey, you got Athen to take to school tomorrow, right? You're good on that? I was like, yeah. All right, so I have quite a bit of work to do today. The Ride Bikes Bro Elite Cycling Team, I just got back the mock-ups with the sponsors on them. I'm gonna talk all about how much it's gonna cost for us to race next year in another video, but I need to get those kits going. I need to pay them and get the kits in production as soon as possible. We got mock-ups for the new VC kit, which are unbelievable. So I need to move that project forward, but then just day job stuff. You know, I told you yesterday that I'm out of project management position, but I need to catch the other guy up to speed on everything. So I've got quite a bit of work to sort of take my pile of mess and hand it to him. So we have about 4 hours of work, I would say, and then we've got a 4-hour ride that we have to do. But let's talk about this. How dope are onesies? That's what I want to talk about. No, it's not really, but onesies are amazing. I want to talk about how to be an okay cyclist. When I first started riding, my goal was not to be a world champion or the best in the area. It was just to be an okay cyclist. Let me just get through the group ride without embarrassing myself. Let me just stay somewhere in the middle. I don't need to be in the front group. I just don't want to be the last on the road. Because let's be honest, how many of us are actually going to be a great cyclist? How much of us are even going to be a good cyclist? Most of us, probably with the amount of time we have, are just going to be an okay cyclist. So let me bang out some work. Let me try to get my responsibilities under wraps here. And then let's talk about the 3 things to make you an okay cyclist.
So are they just wanting the XML file and they're going to pop it into Google, or do they want it to actually send the shit?
I'm not sure. You tell me on what the possibilities. So if I'm going to reply to them and find out, you know, what does this entail? So the email is just, are you familiar with Google Shopping? So we're ready to go riding, but it's super quiet in this house. And if you've ever had kids, quiet usually means bad. But my son is at school, my wife is in town doing workouts. She took my daughter, so my daughter's like at this little play center. So the whole house is just to myself. Okay, so the number one most important thing to becoming an okay cyclist is consistency. If there's anything that you take out of this video, it is the word consistency, because everything else I'm going to talk about all comes back to being consistent on the bike. It doesn't matter if you're riding once a week or twice a week. If you just stay consistent, you will get better. It's almost impossible for you to ride a lot, then take a whole lot of time off, and then ride a lot, and then take a whole lot of time off, and expect to see really any sort of upward trend. So even if you're only riding 2 days a week, as long as you stay consistent and you ride 2 days a week for a year, and you don't take a huge chunk of time off, you will become a better cyclist. So everything from this point on is all about how to stay consistent. 1, you gotta love cycling, okay? So you're gonna have to fall in love with cycling, and to fall in love with cycling, you gotta be comfortable. If your shoes don't fit and they're pinching your toes and your bibs are made out of sandpaper and your bike feels awkward, you're not gonna ride because it's not fun. You're not in love with it. So I definitely recommend getting like a proper bike fit, you know, trying out different saddles, shoes, because man, if you're comfy, you're happy. And if you're happy, you're riding. To stay consistent, you're gonna need to be motivated. To be motivated, sometimes seeing progression helps a ton. So obviously a power meter is like your top of the line tool to show progression, but heart rates are not that expensive. But if you don't wanna buy any training tools, honestly, just having your go-to loop. So go find a loop about an hour, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and you're gonna start at the same stoplight and end at the same stoplight every time. And obviously there's a ton of variables that will change how you perform on that loop from day to day, but just having this one loop that you can sort of gauge progression on. Like, oh man, in December I did this loop, you know, in 45 minutes. But come 3 months from now, I did it in 44 minutes. And so the next time I get out, sometimes you just need some motivation. And you're like, you know what, I don't really want to ride, but I think I can go and beat my loop time by 1 minute. Get you your go-to loop. I've got a pretty brutal workout today. It's 3 20-minute efforts at around 4.5 watts per kilo. About 320 watts each 20-minute effort. That's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but we are going to get it in. And that would lead me into my next thing I could say, is that you gotta make your time count. If you only have 6 hours a week to ride, man, you gotta be making those 6 hours count. Whoa, dude, let's go. 3:15, 20 minutes, one down. Yeah, bro, I was feeling good. All right, boys, 2 more. That first one we crushed, so I'm gonna take it from 3:15 up to 3:20 this time. Let's get her. 20 minutes, 320 watts. Woo! Yeah, boy. 320, 20 minutes. A training tip would definitely be to adjust your training while in the session. So sometimes you're just not feeling it. Maybe pull it back 10, 15 watts. Or are you crushing? Usually not, but maybe you are. And then you up it a little bit. You don't have to be super rigid on your program. Like, you gotta stay in your zone, but to the watt, it's not that important. All right, so another tip to keep you consistent and to be an okay cyclist is find your discipline. I know this might suck to hear, but maybe you're not a road cyclist. Maybe that's just not your thing. Maybe try gravel, track, mountain bike. My boy Tomas, he rode for so long and just never really got to be anything special on the road. But the second he tried track, all of a sudden he's like on the National Olympic team. He went from barely an okay road cyclist to world caliber track star just by finding the right discipline. So maybe, dude, you're a mountain bike shredder. You just don't know it yet. So my tip would be to ride all the bikes, find your discipline, because you might just instantly become a pretty good cyclist in that discipline. Hey, yeah, buddy. We did 3:15 for 20, then we did 3:20 for 20. Then I was just feeling too good, so I did 3:25 for 20. I can't express to you how surreal this is feeling. And that was zone 3 heart rate. That's chilling. Just straight chilling in my douche kayak, bro. Okay, so now we're gonna go down to Oakhurst. I'm gonna steal this KOM and we will resume the tips on how to be an okay cyclist. Cause bro, I've been an okay cyclist for a very long time. So I got more tips for you.
You've got mail.
And so whenever you do find the right discipline for you, it's to find the right technique. So like road cycling has so much technique involved with it. How to draft, how to use your energy, right? How to spread your muscles around. So standing and sitting and how to sit, how to be efficient, how to be aero. If you're mountain biking, if you're doing gravel, I mean, there's so many different things you can learn. Technique will help you save energy. It's got to take a lot of practice though, but that can make you an okay cyclist just in the technique. So one of the most important parts to being an okay cyclist, again, like I said, is that consistency. How to stay consistent? Well, don't burn out. How are you not going to burn out? Don't take it too seriously, man. Say you start a fondo, 100-mile fondo. Are you going to sprint for the first 2 minutes of that fondo? No way, dude. You're going to save your energy. You're going to ride efficiently. And by the end of that fondo, that's the goal. Get to the end. Who cares if you sprint super fast to the first rest stop and then blow up? If you can only manage 4 hours a week, maybe slowly build that 4 into 5, that 5 into 6, that 6 into 7. I think it's better to be an okay cyclist next year than a really good cyclist right now, but you're not even riding next year because you burned out. I think another big thing is to not compare yourself to anyone else. Don't look at anyone else's power. Don't think about, oh man, this guy's riding way faster than me, or this guy's getting these KOMs. It's good to have a training partner to push you, but ultimately, everyone's journey is different. To be an okay cyclist, so this is just someone who can just get by. They're not dreading going on the group rides, right? A fondo's gonna be tough, but it's definitely doable. To be that guy, to be an okay cyclist, which I've been an okay cyclist my whole cycling career, is to be consistent, right? Whatever it is that you're doing right now, whatever is sustainable for your life, try to maintain that without huge gaps of being inconsistent. And as long as you stay consistent over enough time, months, years even, that's when you're really gonna be able to see improvements. So again, being super comfortable, right? Just with your setup, your saddle, your seat position, your clothing, having a bike that shifts well and doesn't always have flat tires. Finding what you like to do, right? So even just in the discipline aspect of things, but also I really enjoy putting on a good podcast and just listening to that. And that helps me get out. If I find a good Radiolab podcast or a good Joe Rogan podcast, man, that helps the ride. Today, on this big ride, I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast for 3 hours. That helped so much motivate me and keep me out on the road that I'm not just like super bored and I call it a day halfway through. Having some sort of ability to gauge your progression, that's always a huge motivator. So if that's power, if that's heart rate, if that's just your own personal loop. When I first started riding, I had this stoplight to the climb and back. That was my loop. And I didn't do it all the time, but whenever I felt froggy, I would go and I'd try to better my time there. And so it was really cool to see, especially when I got new equipment, new bikes, I could go out and see just how much I could improve my time over that course. Riding with a group that's faster than you also is just huge. You could instantly become a pretty decent cyclist just by the group that you're riding with. They're gonna force you out of your comfort zone. And it's okay to be an okay cyclist. I think that's like sort of the mindset, and maybe that's why I've never really been that good, but dwelling on that maybe you're never gonna be a world champion or striving to be something that maybe just isn't in your wheelhouse, I think that can kind of take a toll on your mind. And sometimes when you're watching your watts and your watt per kilo, and then you hear douche canoes talk about what theirs are, you sort of feel inferior to them. And you go, well, what's the point, man? If there's guys that are just doing something that's unbelievable and that I can never achieve. But comparison is the thief of joy. Whatever you want out of cycling, find it and get it out. It's okay to be an okay cyclist. Now, we're gonna go build gingerbread houses with the family. What'd you eat there? Dude, cause what? So the salad, that's just like leafy greens, blueberries, pecans, pomegranate seeds, hemp seeds, sunflower seeds, then a fig balsamic dressing. So good. Then the next up is cauliflower, the purple cauliflower that's deep fried with avocado oil or coconut oil, and then avocados all around it. And that's tempeh that I just put on the flat top and kind of made into like a bacon. Then we've got some roasted potatoes, coconut oil, roasted the potatoes, golden potatoes with some seasoning. And then we've got some tortellini, vegan meatballs, the Beyond Meat meatballs, also with that tempeh bacon. But again, like I said, the salad is just nuts and seeds and a good dressing. It's so good. The cauliflower, you just dice it up. I put it in the cast iron wok and just deep fry it. Basically, it's super easy. You can roast it as well in the oven, and then avocado on everything. And then again, this is just tempeh, but when you like toast it on the flat top, it's kind of like a bacon. But the cauliflower, purple cauliflower, is so good. Seasoned, basically nutritional yeast, sea salt, and maybe some like garlic salt or something, but mainly nutritional yeast and sea salt is what I use on everything. The golden potatoes, you just dice them up nice and fine, throw them. Cast iron, you got to invest in cast iron. Cast iron is the most forgiving cookware there is. Plus, it really just gives like an earthy taste, I guess. Nutritional yeast, sea salt, coconut oil, that's it, man. Now, the vegan meatballs, it's not something that I'm always trying to get into, but the kids really like it. And if you get the right brand, they've got a lot of protein in them. You just got to look at the ingredients and see what it is. Most of the fake stuff is just like wheat and soy with flavorings. All of this stuff, though, I've been cooking for a really long time, so you just sort of kind of have to feel it out. My potatoes, I have my potatoes down. I just know the right time, the right temperature, the right seasoning. It just takes time to learn it. I'll probably do a video during this month a little bit about how to cook, like how to make vegan food not suck. Oils, seasoning, cookware. Cookware is probably the biggest part of it. Like I said, the cast iron is so forgiving. Again, the main thing is just you doing it yourself. Get in the kitchen, start throwing stuff in the pan, and see what happens. You're gonna destroy a lot of food. I have overcooked and oversalted and undercooked and underseasoned and destroyed a lot of vegetables. And just over time, you get it dialed in. So now, bro, I'm gonna smash this. All right, so we did the gingerbread houses. I usually mail mine in. I usually don't actually get that involved with it. I just kind of... Because one time I spent so much time doing it. I invested all my energy, and I was so proud, and then it completely fell apart, and I was so over it. So I usually don't, when we do this, I don't really go full gas, but I was pretty proud of mine. Yours was amazing.
Mine was
And the
even more
secret, though, that I have learned to building gingerbread houses is...
Cheating. She super glues it, dude. She super glues it.
Okay, but what did you say? You had a horrible experience because then it all fell apart.
I know, but that's cheating.
Are you eating it?
That's like the premise of it, is that you could eat it if you wanted.
The premise is that it could fall apart at any minute and
Okay.
ruin all your work.
Yes, that is the game. All right, guys, so I'm super exhausted. Waking up at 7 to take the boy to school, that was difficult. Again, I'm getting into bed around 2 or 3 after the edits on this, which is difficult maintaining the normal life, but it's all good. I'm not complaining. This is awesome. I love this experience, but I'm definitely looking forward to January 1, and I'm going to sit the shit out of my couch, dude. We only have, I think, 7 more days of workouts, really, in total, before recovery week. So I'm looking forward to that.
I know a nickname you can call Chaz.
What?
Jazz man.
Oh, jazzy boy. All right, guys.
Jazz the man.
Jazz, the jazz man. I'm brain dead, man. I gotta go to bed. Anyway, thank you for watching. As always, Vegan Cyclist.
Yeah!
Good job, baby girl.